All right. Hi. So the first module that we're going to be talking about is called Every Trip is a Quest. So first of all, we want to talk about what is a quest. So when your story has these 5 elements, you know it's a quest. So first, the element is a quester. The second one is a place to go for that quester, for that person, typically the main character. A reason to go to that place, some bumps along the road, and the real reason why the quester is sent to do the quest. So yeah, so what do these elements mean? So just to further break down what they mean. So the main protagonist is the quester, obviously, but usually, most of the times they don't know that they're the quester, so it's just really for them, it's just normal. Whereas we know that they are a quester. And then the elements 2 through 4, which are the place they need to go, the reason they need to go, and the bumps along the road, are just more self-explanatory. Just the second one is the initial place that they need to go. And then the third is also the initial reason that they go. So usually that the reason they go isn't the real reason they go, but they don't really know. So yeah, they don't really know that. They really just kind of go because of the reason that they think, and then once they get there, that's when they realize, something, and it's not what they were supposed to, not supposed to realize, but yeah. So where can we see an example of this? We can see this in the story Araby, written by James Joyce. So first of all, let's start off with a quick little summary, because we read this earlier in the year. I think this is one of the first ones we read early in the semester, so we just have to do a little quick refresh to remember what happened. So first of all, the story starts off with a little boy in Ireland, and he is pawning over this girl that lives across the street that happens to be his friend's sister, Magnan's sister. And so one day he sees her and he goes to talk to her, and they both talk about how she wants to go to the bazaar, but she can't because she's going out of town. So he decides, hey, this is a time, he sees this as an opportunity where he can win her over, kind of show her hey, I got you, basically. So he decides that if he goes and gets her little gift from the bazaar, she's gonna start to like him, and they're gonna become a thing. But yeah. So in the days leading up to the bazaar, the narrator just thinks about the bazaar, just thinks about how he needs to go, and how he once he gets this gift, he's gonna win her over. But on the day of, his uncle gets home late, and so he was waiting for his uncle so his uncle could give him money. But on the day of, his uncle gets there late, as I said earlier. So since he got there late, he's kind of rushing to go to the bazaar, and the bazaar is already closing down as he's going, because again, the uncle got there late, and he couldn't really do anything about his uncle getting there late because he needed the money that his uncle was going to give him to buy a gift. But once he got there was still a couple stands open, and he went to one of the stands, and he saw a young woman, and she was talking to these guys, and she saw him, and she kind of seemed annoyed by his presence. So he was kind of a little upset, and he felt unwanted, so he didn't end up buying anything. But yeah, so that's kind of where the story ends. But let's kind of look a little deeper into it. So as you can see, the quester would be the narrator. Obviously he doesn't know he's on a quest, as we said earlier. And then the place that he needs to go to is the bazaar, because that's what he thinks will win over his girl or whatever. And then his initial reason to go to the bazaar. So remember, the initial reason isn't always the real reason. So the initial reason to go to the bazaar was to, of course, as I said earlier, to buy the girl he likes a gift to win her over, because he really liked her. And then the bumps along the road would be like his uncle getting there late, the bazaar not being open, stuff like that. And then, of course, the last one was when he got there, he realized that he was only in love with Magnan's sister because of her vanity, because of her looks, and that's the real reason he was supposed to go there, so he can realize that he only wanted Magnan's sister for her vanity, and once he realizes that, he finally is like, okay, and then that's when the story ends. And then yeah, so that's how the quest would be. So from here, all of the elements that I got from the Foster text, so the 5 elements, and the story we read was in class, and we were able to break that down together. So yeah, thank you.